There's a federal program helping students stay in school when they're experiencing homelessness. It's part of the McKinney-Vento Homelessness Education Assistance Act. But leaders with the Green Bay School District say keeping that support isn't always easy. Victoria Frazier finds out how districts are helping students both in and out of the classroom.
The McKinney-Vento Homeless Education Assistance Act has been around since 1987. The law guarantees students experiencing homelessness the right to stay in school even as their living situations change. According to data from the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction, the number of students in the state's public schools identified as homeless increased to over 20,000 during the 2023-2024 school year.
So it's important for students in the McKinney-Vento program to be able to have school stability when everything else is kind of up in the air and kind of unknown. If they can count on school and their peers and things they know.
The program provides different resources to families to make sure students are able to focus on their education with things like school supplies, transportation, waived fees for class-related activities, and free breakfast and lunch. Elizabeth Webb is the McKinney-Vento liaison for the Green Bay School District. She says about 1,500 families in Brown County rely on the program.
So it's really important to us to do what we can to keep school as accessible and stable as possible. So we provide school supplies, we provide help with field trips and extracurriculars, we provide additional academic support and mentoring.
While the program is federally required, funding doesn't always cover the full cost, leaving districts to rely on a mix of federal grants, Title I funds, and local resources to keep services running. But as housing shortages continue, educators say the length of time families are experiencing homelessness is increasing, making consistent support even more critical.
It used to be a couple months and we could get families into housing programs and vouchers, and now it's at least a year for some of those programs.
Families that qualify for the program are identified every year during enrollment in a mid-year survey. For more information on the program and qualifications, visit WBAY.com. Reporting in Green Bay, Victoria Frazier, Action 2 News.